Everyone, welcome back to another session with me that I can cover. Today, the rest 10 question, not rest, I mean the part 2, 11 to 20, and then the last 10 I'll share the next week, definitely and probably. And welcome back to my channel. You are watching on TikTok, Grow Together, Success Together. Now, with that note, let's practice. So let's practice mean that I already told you that as a BA, what should your primary focus on? So I'm not repeating the same thing again and again. So directly I can jump into that question, and let's start with excuse me. Let's start with question number 11. So question number 11, right? The scenario is the user resists system change during implementation, right? And that could be the serious situation. Now you are a BA, and what is your primary focus on that change management, and definitely the user engagement. Now, what do you do in that situation? You should explain the business benefit. Also, you can demonstrate the simplified workflows. If need, you can provide the training to the users, and you can collect user feedback early, not at the last stage, right? So this is one of the consequences happen if user is join late, not early. This is one of the very, I would say, roast case scenarios, right? So always involve the user early. They should adapt and adapt the system and adapt the changes, and that would be familiar for them, and it would be easier for you to handle. Okay, so basically, the traceability matrix is that traceability matrix is linked to all the business deliverable which you are maintain on, let's say functional specification, test case, validation document, and defect. But mainly the purpose of that traceability matrix is, or RTM, that all the requirements should be mapped with the test case and the test execution. So that is very important deliverable as part of the BA or validation team member. And it's follow CSA and CSV activities. So basically the traceability matrix is common for whatever approach you are taking, CSA or CSV. Now I'm going to the next question. 1 second. Let's assume that question number 13 says that the integration between Viva Vault and Oracle ERP is failed, right? Then what you should do? So basically, you are not a developer. You have to be coordinate with the development team, integration team, business users, and vendor team to identify the root cause. And you have to be think that when that fix will deploy, and if there are any impact to the downstream and upstream system, then you have to be coordinate with that team as well. So, and at the final stage, you should document the root cause, and you have to be take the corrective action, right? This is pretty much generic question and answer, right? Now question number 14 says that explain your experience with the Jira and Confluence. If you are to apply for the BA role, definitely I assume that you should know Jira and Confluence, and you know the agile methodology, right? If you know, not know, then definitely the recommend is first you go through this item, and then you should go for or apply for the interview, right? Now, the Jira basically, you can track the user stories, epics, sprint planning, defect tracking, backlog management, reporting. These are all activities are maintained on Jira. Definitely, a Confluence page is where we are tracking all the workflow note, meeting note, knowledge transfer, recording, decision logs, UAT documents. So these do, and it's definitely the changes items, all the note or the summary you can find in the Confluence page. So it's very easy to handle. Definitely, most of the people are handling their day-to-day job, right? And you should mention them that you know these things, Jira and Confluence, and you maintain the traceability between Jira stories and project documentation. Now, the next question is question number 15. Project timeline, it is at risk. What action would you take? So possibly the reason may include the scope might be increased, resource constraint, delayed dependency, technical issue, frequent requirement changes. So these are all valid reasons may happen, right? Then as a BA, you should reprioritize the backlog and escalate the blockers early, coordinate with the project manager, track high risk item daily, and focus on critical deliverable first, improve the stakeholder communication. So this all point you have to be accountable for. The goal is that you should, or we should, reduce the surprise at the last stage rather than the, you know, we should, we don't, I mean, no one wanted to be listen the surprise at the last stage, to be honest. And you should maintain the delivery with the transparency. That is one important point, right? This is very important question and answer, guys. So if you, I mean, definitely spend more time on it if you are the BA. Now, question number 16. What is CSA? So, CSA, most of people already know, although if you are come from the validation side, so I'm not a validation SME. Still, I'm just touching upon few of the point. If you are a business analyst, then you should know how CSA works, computer software assurance. As per the FDA, it's recommended that we should follow the risk-based approach rather than the documented approach like CSB. And definitely, you have to be mentioned that your experience on the CSA, and you can mention that XYZ company that you helped to develop CSA rather than CSV. And definitely CSA is, as I said, the risk-based approach is always focused on the testing rather than documentation in smaller word. And framework for Viva system is definitely it is including the risk assessment, traceability metrics, validation strategy, critical functionality, identification. So these some nuances you should know of. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much simple, right? I would recommend please go through that part as well in depth. Now, question number 17, that another scenario is during UAT. Unnecessary, the system does not match. During UAT, users say the system does not match the business expectation, even though requirement were approved, right? So this is the very major scenarios or challenges may come, right? So in that situation, if you are a BA, how you can handle that? So you should review the original requirement, compare implemented functionality, and conduct walkthrough with the user, identify whether expectation change after approval or not, determine if enhancement or defect. This is the, if that is enhancement, then add to a backlog, prioritize with the product owner, and then if it is a requirement gap, then update the documentation, coordinate with the corrective action. And this is why the regular playback session are important during the development. So in the development time, I would recommend, if you are a BA, then connect with the development team and connect with the stakeholder pretty often. Otherwise, this issue definitely may come, and if it is come, then it impact. Now, question number 18. Explain 21 CFR Part 11 in simple term. 21 CFR Part 11 were from the pharma side. You already know well aware than me, but still I'm telling you that it ensured the system are secure, reliable, audit ready, and traceable, right? And the key requirement should be include in your test script that audit trail, user access control, electronic signature that should capture data integrity and validation. So in pharma project, compliance is a key priority. With the Part 11 is mandatory for regulated system. Now, question 19. Multiple stakeholders have conflicting priority. How do you manage it, right? Now, let's say you have dealing with a multiple stakeholder on same project. In that case, you should first understand the business impact, compliance risks, timeline constant, and technical dependency. Then you should organize a prioritization discussion with the product owner, business lead, IT team, project manager. And if needed, then you can connect with them individually in the sense in the shorter group. And then you would present the risk, effort estimates, dependency impact, and regulatory consideration. Final prioritization should align with overall business and compliance objective. So definitely we have to be at the last stage, we have to be coming to that one page, right? Now, in nutshell, what document do you usually create a business analyst? This is very important one. So you typically create BRD, requirement specification, and then functional requirement, user stories, acceptance criteria, process flow diagram with the vendor, gap analysis document, traceability matrix, and you have to manage the UAT script, risk assessment, decision log, data mapping document, if and also any migration deliverable if needed. Meeting minute documentation is important for alignment, definitely, and traceability and audit. It's look like simple the documentation, but it's not. All right, all right then. So we come to that end. Definitely stay tuned. I would suggest that stay tuned for the upcoming final session, which covered the remaining 10 Viva BA question and answer. Thank you. That, if why this video is important, if you are for me, that if you are preparing for the business analyst role in BA or pharma IT, this video covers real interview question, and that I hope that you already understand till now, right? Always. See you soon. Bye for now. Thank you.